Welcome to Aros Group's presentation on IR35, the future of using contractors in the private sector. What is IR35 and what does the new legislation do? IR35 is legislation introduced in 2000, which sets out a series of tests to determine whether a worker is an independent contractor or a deemed employee. New legislation to come into effect in April 2021 changes the responsibility of making this determination from the worker to the end client. The key elements of the new legislation are: small companies, those with less than 10 million turnover or 50 employees, are exempt. All liabilities for deducting the appropriate tax or of making incorrect determinations moves from the worker's personal service company to the end client. All determinations need to be documented and communicated to all parties in the supply chain. Determinations can now be challenged, and the end client needs to set up a process for such challenges to be dealt with. End clients are required to take reasonable care in making their determinations. Now, reasonable care is not defined in the legislation, but our process for assisting clients with determinations ensures any threshold for reasonable care is exceeded. And finally, HMRC will be updating their CEST online determination tool. There are three key elements to making a determination. The first one is supervision, direction and control, which looks at how much day-to-day supervision, instruction and prescribed ways of working the end client gives to the worker. The more the end client does any of these, the more likely that the worker is inside IR35. The second is substitution or personal service. The more a particular individual is required for the role, the more likely that the role is inside IR35. If the worker can be easily substituted, then this pushes the role further outside IR35. And finally, we have mutuality of obligation. How much obligation is there for the end client to provide work to the worker, either within an assignment or in between assignments? And similarly, how much obligation is there for the worker to accept such work? The stronger the obligations, the more likely the role is inside. There are also some other considerations in making a determination, such as how much financial risk does the worker take, does the worker have a job title similar to other employees, or does the worker receive any employee type benefits. How can Aros Group assist in preparing for IR35? Here at Aros Group, we've worked with our clients to help them group relevant contractors into tight job roles so that the determination process can be carried out more efficiently. We've also managed the whole communication process, both with the contractor population as well as the internal hiring managers, and have held several roundtable and Q&A sessions with both groups to explain the processes and answer all questions. We work with our clients' hiring managers and contractors to develop milestones and objectives for output-based contracts, as these types of contracts are more IR35 friendly. And finally, we've utilized our years of experience in this sector to advise clients on practical changes to their working practices. We can also take care of the entire determination process on behalf of our clients. We have our own online determination tool, which is more sophisticated than HMRC's CEST tool. And any roles determined to be outside of IR35 using that tool will have the determination backed up by a full legal review by one of our expert partners on our determination panel. And where clients engage Aros Group to carry out the determination, we will provide a full indemnity for any taxes or penalties that may arise in relation to IR35 for those contractors. What happens once a determination is made? If the role is outside of IR35, then Aros Group will act as the fee payer for those resources and will provide a full indemnity for the taxes. We'll also review the role determinations at regular intervals to confirm that there have been no changes to the status and ensure full compliance. If the determination is that the role is inside, then where possible, we'll work with our clients to see if any legitimate changes can be made to the role or engagement to move the role outside of IR35. We'll also work with our clients to evaluate if those roles should be replaced or converted to a permanent resource, as that is generally cheaper and more secure for the client. And for those hard to get skill sets that need to be maintained as a flexible resource, we can assist in negotiations between the client and the contractor. What are your options if a contractor is inside IR35? In all such cases, we generally start by determining if the resource should be converted into a permanent resource. If that's not appropriate and the contractor needs to be retained as a flexible resource, then we can assist clients in either negotiating with the contractor if there's only a small number of roles affected, or if there's a large number of roles, we can deliver the service as a statement of work utilizing our teams as a service offering. And finally, we can utilize our global network of candidates to find cheaper resources that can deliver the services remotely. Thanks for listening to our presentation on IR35 in the private sector. If you have any questions or want to set up a no obligations meeting with one of our IR35 experts, then please drop us an email at ir35@arrowsgroup.com or call us on 0207 803 1700 and ask to speak to Bala Shanmugam. Thanks.